Today we're diving into one of the most controversial casting decisions in 90 Day Fiancé history. We're talking about Sarper Güven, the man with a self-proclaimed body count of 2,500, a controlling attitude, and a questionable past that somehow still made it onto our screens. So, why exactly was Sarper ever cast? And why does he make such a terrible partner for someone like Shekinah Garner? Let's break it down. Sarper wants to be catered to. With just 70 days left on his visa to marry Shekinah, 90 Day Fiancé star Sarper traveled to Montana to meet more of her family. While he had previously met Shekinah's sister Sharia, this marked his first encounter with her other sisters, Ziona and Mariah. Sharia hoped to see real change in Sarper, though she remained doubtful that his actions would align with his promises. Sarper confessed to feeling intense pressure before the meeting, describing the experience as like an inmate going to execution, and jokingly adding, "Shekinah times 3 today." The conversation quickly grew tense as Shekinah's sisters pressed Sarper on how he was handling her emotional triggers. He responded by labeling Shekinah possessive and territorial, denying he'd ever been caught speaking to other women or lying. The sisters weren't convinced and questioned Shekinah's trust in him. Shekinah stood by Sarper, saying, "If I had no trust in Sarper, what would be the point of me even being with him?" Still, her sisters worried she might be overlooking red flags, as she had in the past. Sarper tried to reassure them of his intentions, saying, "I will make her happy. I will do my best to be with her," adding that they were still working on finding a balance in their relationship. He acknowledged the strong bond between Shekinah and her sisters and noted how much they loved her. When the conversation turned to the sisters' upbringing, Shekinah explained they were homeschooled and raised in a remote setting with limited contact outside their family. But the mood shifted when Sarper made an offhand remark, "Do you all have geisha vibes like her?" The comments stunned the sisters. Sarper attempted to justify the comparison by suggesting Shekinah took on a very traditional, submissive role in their relationship, cooking, cleaning, and working. Shekinah stepped in, interpreting his words as a compliment, saying she often did things for him voluntarily, hence the geisha vibes. Still, the skepticism lingered. Sharia pointedly asked, "Does that include him telling you to keep your mouth shut?" referencing a prior conflict. "Yeah," Shekinah quietly admitted, underscoring the sisters' concerns. Sarper's body count bragging is off-putting. Sarper's comparison of Shekinah to a geisha and his pointed question to her sisters about whether they too were submissive may have been wildly inappropriate. But it wasn't the most unsettling thing he's said on 90 Day Fiancé. Throughout his time on the show, Sarper has clung to a self-created bad boy image, claiming he was now trying to leave it behind for Shekinah. But for someone in his 40s, his history has raised serious concerns. Sarper admitted he had never been in a serious relationship before Shekinah, and just a month before she moved to Turkey to be with him, he shocked her by claiming he had slept with more than 2,500 women. At first, Shekinah thought he was joking or had made a mistake. Perhaps he meant 250, which she still considered excessive but potentially forgivable. Instead, Sarper clarified that the real number was somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000. He insisted he had been 110% faithful to Shekinah, while simultaneously criticizing her for being too possessive. Despite his past, Sarper repeatedly insisted he had changed. He said Shekinah was now the only woman on his mind, even as he continued to boast about his former lifestyle. At one point, he claimed he used to sleep with 4.5 women in a single day. He acknowledged having the worst resume on the planet and a history with many women, but argued that his transformation should be enough to satisfy Shekinah. Still, his attitude has left many viewers, and Shekinah's family, unconvinced. Sarper even suggested that by not adding Shekinah's name to his personal diary, documenting his past conquests, he was doing her a favor. While he presents himself as reformed, his words and behavior continue to fuel doubt about whether he's truly left his bad boy past behind. Sarper keeps threatening to leave Shekinah. Just when it seemed like Sarper had finally earned the trust of Shekinah's sisters, his behavior took a sharp turn for the worse. Not long after the couple returned to Los Angeles together, their relationship unraveled in a heated fight that Shekinah recorded as evidence. According to Shekinah, she came home from work and cooked a meal for Sarper, only for him to lash out. In the audio, Sarper can be heard yelling, "I really hate this life and I'm going back to my country." Shekinah later made a list of hurtful things Sarper had said during the argument, but he denied saying them and accused her of lying. After the fight, Sarper gave Shekinah the silent treatment, isolating himself in her home and sleeping on the couch. According to Shekinah, this became a form of emotional punishment, his way of expressing displeasure when he was in a bad mood. Despite everything she was doing to accommodate him, including giving up closet space and adjusting her entire lifestyle, Sarper seemed to show little gratitude. Shekinah had made significant sacrifices to make their relationship work, but Sarper's cold behavior made it clear he didn't recognize or respect her efforts. Confident that Shekinah wouldn't leave him, he continued treating her with indifference. Viewers and fans have voiced concern, believing Shekinah deserves far better than the emotional turmoil she's enduring.